All right, so we've got a decent amount of stuff to cover here around making decisions. And the first place we'll begin are with simple, hopefully simple, comparison operators. So these are operators kind of like plus sign or subtraction or multiplication that are built in to JavaScript, except they're not necessarily mathematical. We're not adding things together, or we're not doing math. We are comparing two values, a left and a right. So we're going to start with the first couple. We're going to ignore the bottom ones with double equals, basically equality, not equal. These will be a separate video following this video. So the first four, let's just do greater than and less than to begin with. So hopefully you've seen greater than and less than before. When I was a kid in school, we took two popsicle sticks. We formed them into one of those shapes, little alligator. We put teeth on it and what do you call it? One of those wiggly eyes. It's not a wiggly eye. What do you call them? Googly eyes? Makes no sense either. And we painted them green. We made an alligator greater than and less than, and we would point it in the right direction depending on if something was greater than or less than something. For example, if we have 1 and I want to compare it to the value of 3. Is 1 less than or greater than 3? Well, let's just do 1 greater than 3. What do I get? I get false. 1 less than 3? I get true. So these return a Boolean. They give us one of two values, true or false. That's it. So I'm comparing two values. Let's do -1 greater than 20. False. How about -1 greater than -1? Also false. That brings us to the other two values, or the other two comparisons here, greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. So I could do -1 less than or equal to -1. That is now true, right? They are equal. If I do -1 less than or equal to 10, that is also true. -1 is less than 10. So these are simple, hopefully. They return, or they give us a true or false value. That's it. But they become very useful in the real world when we're working with data that is unknown, right? We don't know exactly. Let's mimic that. Let's have a variable called age. Let age equal, I don't know. I'm going to hide it from you, okay? Okay, I made my age variable. I gave it a numeric value. And let's say we're writing some software, and you have to be 18 to sign up for our website. So I could check, is age greater than or equal to 18? And it is. I don't have to know exactly what it is, but I do know it's greater than or equal to 18. What was it, 31? Okay, so very simple example, and we're still not making a decision based upon this. We're just testing. We're comparing. Is this mystery variable greater than or equal to 18? True or false? But then I can use that once we learn how to actually have those branching pathways, how we can have different outcomes. We'll use these comparisons to help us. So that's kind of all there is for these first four. Greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. One thing I should highlight though, is that we're not limited to doing this with numbers, although it's most common to do that. You actually can compare two strings. I can do A less than B. It's just kind of dicey. It's a little confusing because it's not always, it doesn't work the way you might expect it. What happens is that every character, like A or B, or even the star character, an asterisk, or a period, or a less than bracket itself, they all have an underlying code, a numeric code, thanks to something called Unicode. So they all have a code, and here's just a small subset. These are the basic Latin characters. So something like the @ sign has a Unicode value of 40. Something like lowercase a has a value of 61. And B is 62. So we can compare them, but what we're comparing there is not necessarily which one comes first in the alphabet, although in this case that's true. Also notice that uppercase letters come first. So we have uppercase A and lowercase a, 41 versus 61. So I could do is uppercase A less than lowercase a. That is true. But we've got things like the @ sign. That is 40 versus 41. So is this less than uppercase A? That is true. It just gets complicated if you're working with long strings and you don't actually know the codes and the values. Most people don't. I mean, it's good enough to know that uppercase comes before lowercase, but then there's a lot of other symbols and things that aren't necessarily included in this one table. If you get into other alphabets, all of these have Unicode characters. So we could look at the Armenian alphabet, right? I don't know any of these letters, but they have their own Unicode values. So if you are trying to compare strings, just keep that in mind. It may not work the way you're expecting, but it is possible, and we don't get an error or anything. We still get true or false. So those are the basic comparison operators, at least the first four. Next up, we've got the second four, equality operators.